September 1958, Australia's tallest office building became ready for occupation after a construction period of 2 years. The story behind the design and building of these new offices is a fascinating one. This was the picture at the building site in September 1955. A block of land at Eastern Hill occupied by a motley collection of hoardings and old buildings, some more than 100 years old, certainly not a picture of civic beauty. But old buildings bring joy at least to the wreckers, who with sledgehammer and oxyacetylene torches soon set to work with a will to clear the way for the erection of Melbourne's first skyscraper. Test drills of the subterranean strata provide soil and rock samples which are critically examined. After soil testing, excavation on a large scale to a depth of 40 feet is commenced. The design of the building allowed for many items to be prefabricated. Before excavation had actually commenced, the components of its construction were already being assembled in 100 manufacturing plants throughout Australia. Here at Brunswick, floor sections are cast in reinforced concrete. Granite surfaced slabs, which will face the service tower of the building, are cut and polished in another plant. Electrical equipment is assembled in the contractor's factory. Concrete is pre-mixed at a nearby unit. Hundreds of tons are used to pour the footings and foundations of the building. Each of the 27 pillars of the building will eventually support a column load of over 1,000 tons. Site offices carrying attractive murals permit architects, builders and company building representatives to meet on the spot and to deal with each constructional problem immediately it arises. A giant crane, the largest ever to have been used in Australia for building construction, handled the steel members of the building's framework. The crane dominated Melbourne's skyline for many months and was later joined by several smaller ones. The Dogman is the star of the show. His job is one which enthralls the passerby and the ever-present sidewalk superintendents. The rigid steel construction rises quickly. The building design allows for a wind force on its northern or southern faces of a total of 340 tons. Wooden forms are built for the poured concrete of the vertical sections. Steel forms are laid for the pouring of the concrete floors of the first 5 stories, rising above the basement and sub-basement. From the 6th floor upwards, the precast concrete floor units are used. These are of the inverted channel type of comparatively light weight for their strength, and they span beams set 12 feet apart. The floor units are placed in position with a mobile lifting machine. A 3-inch thickness of poured concrete will provide the finished floor surface. The service tower of the building has 22 stories above ground level and reaches 275 feet at its highest point. It's faced with the highly polished granite-finished slabs, which are hauled up in the care of the Dogman and fixed in position by workmen operating from steel scaffolding. The tower will house lifts, stairs, toilet blocks, air conditioning ducts and other service equipment. A large gang is at work finishing off the sub-basement floor, upon which will be mounted the emergency power generating plant and air conditioning equipment. Extreme accuracy is required here. Activities at ground level become diminutive when viewed from above the steel framework, which is approaching its final height limit. The Dogman, as he descends, has an unequaled opportunity to observe the steady progression of construction from the top to the bottom of the building. He passes the bare steel construction at the upper levels. At these lower levels, the precast floors have been laid and the cross beams have been encased in preformed concrete. Here, the lightweight curtain walling has been installed. These aluminium framework sections are a feature of the design of the building. They're much lighter than conventional masonry. In sections, they're quickly fastened into position, and to complete the walling, they're glazed with clear glass for the windows and blue-grey constructional glass for the opaque sections of the walls. Over 120,000 square feet of glass was used in the building. As this new building reaches for the sky, it becomes known affectionately as the Glass House. It's a building which marks a great step forward in architecture in the city of Melbourne. Eight automatic lifts will service the building. These, too, were prefabricated. They're hauled to the top of the building, lowered through the roof and down into their lift wells, a delicate operation requiring extreme care and much patience. Meanwhile, vinyl plastic tiles are warmed and laid on the concrete floors, which have been smoothly surfaced and prepared to take them. More than 25,000 of these wear-resistant tiles are laid throughout the building. Large open office areas are created with standard partitions of modular construction. With the completion of the steel construction, a farewell party is given for the steel workers who carried out their work so smoothly and efficiently. Tubular steel scaffolding, which has surrounded the building for many months, is removed to reveal the new towering building which now dominates the Melbourne skyline. Sun visors are fitted over the windows on the northern face of the building. These horizontal projecting hoods reduce the load on the air conditioning plant during the summer months, but at the same time they're designed to permit the rays of the winter sun to penetrate the building. Polythene film is laid on the floor of the basement car washing bay as a moisture barrier. This virtually indestructible film will be covered with a layer of concrete. Polythene film is also laid over the garden area, which forms the roof of the basement garage. Many tons of loam are brought to the garden site, which will become a pleasant feature of the building setting. Tons of rocks, still covered with moss and lichen from the bushlands near Sydney, are brought to the site of Melbourne's new garden. The hardy cactus, in a variety of forms, provides a motif for the landscaping. The lawn was prefabricated also. It was laid down in a garden nursery, and now it arrives a mature turf cut into 12-inch square sections. ICI House Melbourne has been completed. The imposing building has been an inspiration to the men who designed and built it. They have created a monument in steel, concrete, aluminium and glass, which will advertise their skills to generations yet to come. The building accommodates a community of 1,500 people, and many services are required. In the sub-basement is located an air conditioning plant that serves the lower half of the building. Conditions within the building are maintained at a constant temperature around 70 degrees, with a relative humidity of 50% throughout the year. Panels in the sub-basement indicate instantly the atmospheric conditions on all 24 floors of the building. Pumping equipment lifts water to the top of the building for domestic and toilet blocks and for the fire protection system. The Melbourne City Council has installed a special electrical substation to supply the building with its power requirements. And linked to the power supply distribution board is an emergency diesel-driven power generating plant capable of operating 2 lifts and other essential services in the event of a power failure. Maintenance workshops for engineers, electricians and carpenters also are located at this level. The building's hot water system is housed on the top floor of the 22-story service tower, together with part of the air conditioning plant and the lift motors with their complicated electronic control equipment. In November 1958, the new building was ready to receive the staffs of all of the ICAN's offices, which had formerly been spread throughout the city. Company vehicles arriving at the building drive down into the basement car park, which can accommodate 65 cars. The high-speed automatic lifts whisk their passengers skywards at the rate of 500 feet per minute. More than 800 telephones throughout the building require a team of switchboard operators to direct the large volume of traffic. The telephone installation is one of the most modern in the Commonwealth. Within a few days, the staffs from ICI's widely distributed offices settle down to work in their new and attractive surroundings under conditions designed to achieve the greatest possible efficiency in office routine. Steel filing units on rollers and tracks can be closed up to save valuable space and provide compact storage for company records. The Techno-Commercial Library, located on the 11th floor, is a central library containing a wide range of technical and commercial publications and other reference material. Here, trained librarians assist ICI staff to carry out on-the-spot research. The caretaker's flat is located on the 18th floor. It's comfortably furnished and complete with every amenity. Secretarial annexes have been equipped with efficiently designed functional office furniture. Each senior executive's office has a different color scheme and attractive, comfortable furnishings. The executive director's suite on the 17th floor has been impressively designed. Private secretaries are equipped with very practical working arrangements for their office furniture. This office is typical of each executive director's room. In addition to its normal furnishing, the chairman's office is equipped with a small meeting table to facilitate conferences with co-directors. Conference rooms, small and large, are located throughout the building and are used for directors, sales, management, and other meetings. As in many parts of the building, indoor plants have been used for decorative purposes in the main boardroom. A director's dining room, serviced by a small kitchen, is located on the executive office's floor. The visitor on business arriving at ICI House is directed without delay by an attendant in the building foyer to the office he wishes to reach. Visitors are received in pleasant reception areas, and if the people they wish to see are engaged, they're directed to comfortable adjoining waiting rooms. The Albert Street entrance of the building leads into the main foyer, from which an attractively designed theaterette can be readily reached. With seating accommodation for 100, its main use is for lectures and the screening of commercial and technical films. ICI House is probably better equipped with amenities for its staff than any other building in Melbourne. A colourful and attractive cafeteria to accommodate 400 occupies the entire 18th floor. This dining room commands the best view to be found in Melbourne. Below is the stately old exhibition building erected in 1880. The new government office block. St. Peter's Church, East Melbourne, and nearby St. Patrick's Cathedral. Whilst in the distance there is a panorama that includes Government House and the finest views available of the city of Melbourne. Staff amenities include a lending library containing a large variety of fiction and non-fiction material. The medical suite has a trained nurse constantly in attendance. On this floor, restrooms for female staff are also located. A small kiosk is run by the staff social club. A recreation room provides facilities for table tennis and other games. With official opening day approaching, the great 3-acre area of glass is given a final wash and polish. A wire-enclosed staging, electrically operated, makes window cleaning a relatively simple task. Rollers attached to the platform can be clamped to the metal upright frames of the wall and prevent sway or swing away from the building and ensure smooth vertical movements. In its attractive garden setting, ICI House provides a new architectural standard for Melbourne. It sets new standards also for office efficiency, standards which will improve further the many services the company is providing for the people of Australia. Number 1 Nicholson Street, Melbourne, has already become a world-famous address. It's a building which has considered the aesthetic as well as the functional approach to its existence. The impressionistic fountain, with the graceful and ever-changing patterns of its falling water, is a must as a subject for both amateur and professional photographers. The fountain sets the mood of a very pleasant corner of Melbourne. Thursday, the 11th of December, 1958, was the day of the official opening of ICI House, and Mr. R.G. Casey, Minister for External Affairs, was one of many distinguished guests. The chairman of Imperial Chemical Industries Limited, London, Sir Alexander Fleck, came to Australia to perform the opening ceremony. Sir Alexander, in his address, said, ICI House is not simply a Melbourne landmark, it's also a landmark in the development of Australia's manufacturing industry. Its glass construction will reflect, in a fascinating way, the ever-changing moods of the Melbourne sky.